New Florida standards teach students that some black people benefited from slavery because it taught useful skills. Obviously, slavery is a horrible institution, and overall is definitely bad. But like that statement is probably true in its face, right? Why, like, of all the things to take issue with, I could be wrong, but weren't some early black blues musicians or even early black, it wouldn't have been jazz, it would have been black blues musicians, like weren't some of them classically trained to play music inside for like white people and shit? Like, and I'm sure there are some things that you learn in the process of working, even as a slave, that are somewhat beneficial to real life stuff, like if you like past slavery. But I mean, obviously, if that's the only thing you're teaching there, it's probably not a good thing. It strongly depends on the context of how it's presented. Yeah, of course. It's just such a weird like headline for why even teach kids that it's not important. I mean, find real issues to care about. It's so retarded. Okay. Imagine if public schools taught about the valuable skills Jews learned in concentration camps. It's distasteful and disrespectful. I mean, history is just history. I don't know if Jewish people, like, let's say, for instance, it was the case that once the concentration camps were liberated, that like some Jewish people went and they started businesses based on some skills. I mean, you could teach it if you wanted to. I don't know if, I thought in the concentration camps, I thought most of the labor was just like menial, like shit. Like you're just there to basically work and then die. But I imagine for a lot of slaves in the United States, a lot of the slave labor was probably menial too. Like it was probably like just like hardcore, like somebody in YouTube chat earlier said they just did like a bunch of like really menial agricultural stuff, which made them victims of sharecropping later on. That could be the case too. Slavery was not death camps, but focusing on the fact that the unpaid forced labor might have taught you a skill is definitely missing the point. What are you talking about, you retard? It depends on how it's presented in the curriculum. If you do an entire semester in high school on how slavery was beneficial to the slaves because they learned skills, yeah, that would obviously be horrible. But if there's like 2 sentences in a paragraph that says some slaves went on to establish businesses depending on what they did for their slave owners, that's not really that bad. It depends on how it's presented. The only way you can have a strong opinion on this without seeing the presentation is if you're a partisan hack. Otherwise, you're retarded. Like, it's obviously a way to downplay slavery. Any argument otherwise is disingenuous. How about you try this? For once in your life, try not putting morality first and try putting the fact first and then doing the moral analysis afterwards. Because this is the reason why nobody trusts anybody anymore in this society, is because everybody morally loads every analysis they make. All of slavery was horrible. Every slave hated it. Every single slave master was evil. Blah, 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 blah. First, that's not true. That's probably not a true accounting of slavery, right? Some slaves probably did better than others. Some master people were probably nicer than others. It just depends. But the problem is when you don't give an honest accounting of the fact, what will happen is you give your bullshit morally loaded version where we all watch Pocahontas and jerk off into each other's mouths and swallow each other's at the end of the day. Then what'll happen is eventually people will stumble upon some facts and they'll go, oh, wait a second. This fact doesn't fit the narrative that I was initially taught. This fact doesn't actually fit the established pattern of fact that actually is true. And then people don't trust anything you say. So rather than feeling like you need to fucking lie to sell a point, why not just tell what actually happened and then bring the moral analysis afterwards? Shouldn't that be what it is? Destiny is ultra naive, and you're ultra permaban. Remember, across the highway, not down the street. This guy makes a stupid, retarded post, but like, he's proving my point. He's just doing stupid examples. 9/11 helped a lot of Americans. For some Americans, after 9/11, they chose to join the military and developed a lot of lifelong competencies they used to continue living after seeing their friends and family incinerated inside a collapsing World Trade Center. While we're at it, a lot of women benefited from because they got pregnant and had wonderful children and they made their lives better. These are both true facts and according to Destiny. If you don't say this, you're not giving an honest accounting of the facts and nobody will, so I should trust you. If you say stuff like some slave has really nice, some slaves learned skills benefit, you're making slavery sound like a fucking internship. How the 95% blah, 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 blah. You understand that people literally say this about some things, right? Like, for instance, World War II was a massive boon to the United States economy. World War II was one of the worst events in human history. A lot of people died, Jewish and otherwise, right? But people say that a lot. Like, you can go back through any horrible event in history and there are going to be some good things that people will have to say that as a result came out of it. Like, are you justifying World War II? True. Why'd you say Jewish and otherwise? Because I'm not just referring to the Holocaust of World War II. There are a lot of fucking soldiers that died as well. Tens of millions, right? How many soldiers died World War II? 20 million soldiers. It's not just the Holocaust. But World War II also led to an unprecedented increase in international cooperation. It led to deepening our ties with what are today some of our closest allies, like Japan. My husband's favorite recipe. They're so delicious, I cook it 4 times a week. Oh boy, what is this?
Cześć. Dziś pokażę wam ulubiony przepis mojego...
Okay, these look, whatever this is, it looks delicious, but it also looks super unhealthy. What is this? Is it egg and cheese and bread?
męża. Gotuję go 3 razy w tygodniu.
Why isn't she speaking the right language? Lycan, take notes. This is what you're making from now on. Exclusively this. More cheese? Oh god, she's gonna do egg and cheese on the top.
Pisz komentarze.
How is this not an American recipe? It must be. Do non-Americans use this much cheese? I thought this was exclusively an American thing. Holy shit. It's French? I think Americans use a lot of cheese on shit. Koreans love cheese too. Have you seen like an American lasagna? On in a restaurant? We use hella cheese. Like, this is like getting close to what they'll look like. Not this. You would never see this in a restaurant in America for lasagna. Not this. You'd never see this in an American restaurant. This is getting closer to what you'd see. This is closer to what you'd see in an American restaurant.
Для mnie. Засубсcribować.
Is she gonna put... She's not gonna put another thing of cheese on it, right? No shot would she do it. No shot. Oh no, it's this... It's the... sliced cheese. Okay, never mind. Or the shredded cheese. Oh god, this looks so good. Oh.